Hi there and welcome to Kirky's Sauna and the hottest day of the year. We're in the wee man cave and it's absolutely boiling. But we're delighted that we have got Kilmarnock's very own Billy Bragg, a man who's loved by all the musicians in Kilmarnock really. Well, Bill himself, Mr. Billy Sullivan. Welcome, Billy. Thanks for coming along.
Welcome, Billy boy. How did you get into music, Billy? And when did you get your first guitar?
I probably got into music for a very, very young age because my dad was a singer and we were always having people run about the house on a Sunday night, folk for the church and that, somebody would come with a guitar, and that was my kind of first introduction to, I would say, music being personal to me. I loved singing as a wee boy. I remember the very, very first song that I sang that I can remember that was off the cuff and word by word was Mulla Kintyre. I think I was about 7-year-old at the time.
A classic.
Aye, absolutely. In tune and everything, all the folk were all clapping and all sorts. So that was a real opener for me, Mulla Kintyre. Yeah.
And what age was you when you got your first guitar?
First guitar, I'd been in my teens. I can't recollect, but I remember my mum and dad. I remember obviously seeing guitar bands and stuff and that and thinking, oh, it'd be great to have a guitar, Being at the school, when we were in the music room, I was straight to the guitar. I wasn't interested in the drums or anything like that. It was just the guitar. And my mum and dad, probably one index or something like that, and it was a 4K. I was as light as anything. It was like a tennis racket. Tuning it was mental because it was such a cheap guitar. It went off tune quick. Regarding and what kind of environment it was in. So that was my first guitar, was a 4K. And then my dad wanted me to obviously get better at the guitar. So he organised for a guy in the pub in the Charleston, a fella by the name of Robert Dale. No, Robbie Dale, Robert Dale, his dad. And he had a Les Paul. And I just thought this was like, wow, look at this. This is amazing amps. And I'm sitting here with this piece of nonsense. And this guy's sitting here with something like the Beatles would have played or something like that. And I was just so engrossed with it and all that. And that was my first proper lesson. And the first song I ever learned to play in the guitar, and I'm embarrassed to say it, but it was Bobby Shafto's Going to Sea. Silver buckles on his knees. He'll come back and marry me. Dear old Bobby Shafto. A G and a D and a C, whatever it was.
So how long did it take you to learn, get it to a point where you were confident?
I'd probably say about 6 months.
That's quick.
Within about 6 months, I was playing bar chords, and the first proper songbook that I was playing off of was the Beatles. It was the Beatles songbook.
What age were you in, Billy?
I would be about 14 or 15 at the time. I can't recollect exactly, but about 14 or 15.
And when you were 14 and 15, what kind of stuff were you listening to? What were your influences?
Oh, right away, my influences was definitely The Clash and the Pistols, The Damned, Ramones. Anything that was, I didn't really get in for like any other kind of genres. I liked rock. I liked rock and roll. And like some like rockabilly stuff and that, but mainly it was what you got. It was the riffing of the punk chords and that. Yeah.
And you're
and Billy Bragg, obviously. That was it. I loved the rawness of his, what you call it. Seeing him, saw him on the telly with the backpack and everything. I thought, wow, that'd be brilliant to do that. Again, just the rawness, the chords he was hitting and that. And just, that was definitely
And when did you play your first gig?
My first gig was at the Gateway on a Sunday night. We obviously, I had got a wee band together with some schoolmates and that, and we were called Joint Effort. That was our name. It was an effort, I'll tell you. But there was a buzz about going to the Old Jimmy on a Saturday morning and just being in among amps and pedals and all that, and just good playing on your own, but when you were playing with somebody else, there was just that magic of when you got combinations of chords changing and with the bass coming in and all that. There was just such a buzz to when you got actually try and get a song together.
And see, at that time, had you any original songs in your set?
No.
You were just playing covers at that
covers.
time?
All punk covers, Billy.
Aye. The first one that we played at the Gateway, and it was an absolute mess, was Jenny Jones. I can't remember. There was Jenny Jones. I think we played a Smiths number. We played... I can't remember the other one was the name. We went to play with you got a Fingers number, and then the place kind of went weird, and I turned around and my band had walked off.
They done you a favour because
and left me.
Because then you went on to play in the style of Billy Bragg.
Well, I knew that night that I've always been a kind of boy that didn't circle off a challenge. And that night, I thought, there's no way I'm just with you got putting my guitar down and walking off. I've actually got pals out there who were excited about seeing me actually playing on that night. And the thing was, when we were rehearsing, the old Jimmy just got a phone call at the blue one night, all at Pettigrew. Oh, young Billy, hey, how you doing with your band? So I've got a couple of songs in that. And he says, aye, well, you're on at the Gateway next Sunday night. What? He was a great man, but getting that chance to just, and it was like, wow, again, I've been annoying my mother and father with playing in my bedroom and that, and what I used to do is I used to put my PV Backstage Plus up to the window, but no towards me, towards the neighbours, and just ramp it up big time, and absolutely you got destroy everybody's peace.
Were you singing in that band as well, or were you just playing guitar?
No, I was singing.
You were singing?
I was singing.
Guitar, bass and drums, basically?
Yeah, there was guitar, bass and drums, and somebody sitting playing keyboards that weren't even switched on.
Oh,
they just looked as if they looked at that guy out of Sparks. Honestly.
Did you continue the gig yourself then? Once you noticed the band...
When I noticed the band, they walked off.
Why did they walk off?
Because I think they were embarrassed. I don't think they thought that they were ready. Honestly, to this day, I've never got an explanation. I appear to say when it came to going away at the end of the night, they asked me how much did we get, and I told them quite plainly something. So no, but when I was standing there and I'm looking out and I'm like, right, there's Davey, there's Quirky, there's Hank. Oh my goodness, man, they're never going to talk to him again. So it was kind of like that, embarrassed, but wanting to kind of make up for it. So then I rolled down the microphone. Should I say or should I go? Well, that was the wrong question because then everybody, or so many, tell me to, you know what? So that was kind of, thought, right, well, what can I do now? I need to play something. So I tried playing something and there was a heckle for somebody. Then somebody shouted, could you do any better? So there was just a bit of conflict going on. And then next thing, I get scudded in the head with an ashtray. Somebody flung a pie. that was my introduction to rock and roll.
Okay. And was that the time you thought, I'm just going to do it on my own now?
No, that was actually the time, Corky, that I says, what's the point, Ken? And I remember actually getting, when the heckling really got more and more, I lifted the guitar and I flung it. So I thought I was a wee bit kind of rock and roll, Ken, chucking my guitar. But I was embarrassed, I was upset, I was quite disappointed, and I thought I'd let everybody down. And then I came in, my mum and dad went out, how did it go? Don't talk to me, woof, straight up the stairs. And that was it. I put my guitar in the cupboard, and that was me bye. I'd resided to myself. I wouldn't even play records that week or none. I went into a shell, an absolute shell, until other things happened.
And what was the other things that happened that made you get the guitar back out? And see, at that time, was you thinking to yourself, I'm going to form a band, or did you think to yourself, I'm going to do this myself?
Oh, there was no way I was forming a band. No, because I wasn't going to put myself through that embarrassment.
Didn't want to rely on other people.
I didn't want, no, definitely not.
You're going to rely on yourself.
Well, that's it. I've always kind of been that sort of type of person. Like, if nobody else is going to get on board with me, then I need to do it. I need to prove to myself that I can do it.
It was quite a brave thing that you done, Ken, because whenever I watch you, you go onto the stage on your own. There's nowhere to hide. It's only you.
Yeah.
So is it quite nerve-wracking?
Absolutely.
Doing that?
Totally.
I can imagine.
And I think it was just I can't remember where I was, how it happened, but I was just having a conversation with Kevin Mark, and he was like, what you did, Ken, last Sunday night. He said, I'm telling you, man. He says, everybody's been talking about it. Fucking the guts that you've got to do that. He says, what are you clowns are chucking stuff in that? Would they stand up there and do that? So that gave me a wee bit of confidence. They thought, oh, well, somebody actually appreciates me, Ken. So, and he says, honestly, what you did out there last week was Wild Bill. And he went, that's it? That's your new name? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, that's it. That's your new name. That's you. You don't need to worry about a band. You're Wild Bill, and that's it. And he says, in fact, to kind of give me a bit of confidence and all that, get a song that you're quite confident at. Come and meet us at the boys at the garage down at Caprington. I can't remember, it was last year's Men. Get a song that you're really interested in and play it. And if you're confident, come down. We'll play it along with you and you can sing it just to kind of get you kind of confident again. And then if you feel like coming in with the guitar, then fine. Aye, all right then. So the song was Love and Unemployment by the Newtown Neurotics.
By the members?
And by the members, Solitary Confinement. So going down that day, it was just such a buzz. And by that time, I didn't have the 4K anymore. I then got money together. Well, it was money that my mum and dad had been saving up for me so that I could get it when I was 16. And it was a wee bit of an argument with my mother, but we went to High Street Music on High Street in Kilmarnock. Jimmy Gilmer was the man there. He was, what are you on for, son? Oh. So I come away with this Vox Standard 24. Barry will probably ken more about it than that.
Barry's not any big guitars.
So it's a Vox Standard 24. It was wine and colour with kind of cream pickups. And the sound of this thing in this shop, and I'm like, oh my goodness, man, that 4K's gone in the bin. Getting that was, and my mum's like, you don't need a guitar, you've got a guitar. I says, Mum, that thing, I wouldn't even play tennis with that. Sorry, Mum. I wouldn't even play tennis with it. I says, it's so light. I says, and it doesn't, the strings break easy with the way I play in that. So this guy says, I've got the exact thing for you. So I did. I went away with this. And my mum again was just nipping my head all the way saying, we only got that guitar so that you could have some enjoyment in your room and all that, Ken, with you listening to your records. I says, no, Mum, I want to go further. I want to be in bands and other stuff and that. And she couldn't understand it. But anyway, that was my first proper, I would say, guitar. And I got a PV Backstage Plus for the good lads at RJ Music. It was £150 and they gave me it for, what you call it, £50.
Oh, that was good.
Aye.
Was that Ian Loretta?
That was Ian Loretta and Tam.
Yeah.
Great guys.
Oh, aye.
And that was my first. And to bring that home, file that lead in, get that crank top, get the distortion on. Oh man, this is banging. This is amazing. Didn't say banging, that's a word they use now. It'd be other words I'd be using at the time. And it was just, what a joy it was to have that, would you call it, guitar in my possession.
A young man dreamed of one day playing in a punk rock band, singing to his records with a guitar in his hand, driving his parents crazy as they say, son, be quiet. But he kept strumming more and more and belting a white riot. Finally I got some mates and we all formed a band. We had dreams of playing stages all across the land. But one night in Kilmarnock, they left me standing there, and the crowd kept shouting, hey, get off, and throw pies through the air. Oh, I'm wild feeling for the fool, I'll play my songs for fun. I might play Smash It Up, and I might play Tommy Gun. Life can be a riot, so be bold and have the will. 'Cause I'm your local Billy Bragg, and my name is Wild Bill.
Billy, what memories have you got of your early gigs?
Early gigs, very first gig that I played in was Vicky's. The band that was on at the time was, this is going to sound crazy, they were called the Bedoing and the Springers. But then they changed their name, listen, they changed their name to the Eight-Ridden Corps of Liberace.
Oh, wait a minute.
Quentin, I can't remember the rest of the boys. Snod.
Quentin Wright.
Boy called Snod.
Snod, I know who that is, aye.
The Doing in the Spring.
That's brilliant.
Seriously.
The year colleagues below me at school, I know it was Quentin Wright and Snod. Aye, it was Al, what's his name, Al? I can't remember, but aye, what a brilliant.
Aye. So they were definitely involved.
Corpse of Liberace.
They were definitely on the thing, and then of course I don't know who else was there, but then it was Last Year's Men, and then they're playing away and they said we've got a very special guest here tonight, and everybody's kind of like, oh, I can remember it and all that, and they says we want to invite Wild Bill to come to the stage. Excuse me, and folk are like, who's Wild Bill? Never seen him before in my life. And then the minute I started walking up, it's Billy Sullivan. Things were dropping in that, but walking to that stage, there was just such a buzz and excitement, nerves to blazes. But then when I picked up that guitar and I hit that wee and right into it, and for what I can remember, that song went an absolute blaze, and with the drums and the bass and everything in the background and singing it away like that. So that was my first proper gig. Again, it was only one song, it was with another band, but that was probably say my first gig.
And this leads to the next question. How has music changed you?
Well, it made me more confident, definitely. Because at school and that, I was nearly in the in crowd. I was in the out crowd. I was in the place where, oh well, we'll pick you get picked last out to fit my team. That's that type of thing. So I always had that kind of thing hanging over me, like at school. And then I thought, out into the big world and that, I can't allow myself to be drawn back into that type of thing. So music, definitely, when you got it, gave me a purpose. Let's say, it gave me a real purpose. Not just that, it became a community to me as well, but not just with music, but with the folk. Because when you went to Vicky's on a Friday night or wherever you were going, it was the same folk you were congregating with, but there was something special about it. And nobody
Non-judgmental.
Aye, nobody poo-pooed you or anything like that again. And the great thing about it was that the community became more a family. Because thinking back, after doing that thing in there, the amount of folk that were then coming out saying, Billy, we're playing such as you want to. So I can't remember if I played one in Mayor and Vicky's, but then I did play in other places. Sorry if that's, am I going to do for it? So then there's other bands who were coming and saying to me, Billy, such and such is put out, or Billy, would you like a wee shot? So it was all that kind of, wow, folk are actually accepting me. Ken, this is the kind of people I want to be with. You know, I don't need the in crowd.
Exactly.
You know.
And where is your kind of favourite places to play? Back in the day.
Back in the day, I'd probably say the Bullet and Betty's. It was spacious. It was a good atmosphere. I'd probably say Bullet and Betty's. Aye.
See the songwriting. How does that work, Ken? When you're writing a song, what comes first?
Well, thinking back to the joint effort, the thing at the old Jimmy, there was a song that was written, and it was called Down with the Blues, and it was all about sticking two fingers up to the Tories and whatnot, and a lot of kind of colourful language in it that also I'm not going to talk about. But there was something in. No, I didn't write down the blues. It was actually a fella called Gary Brown, and Gary he was a guy that played the bass. So he was friends with Gary thing with Dawson. He was friendly with Gary Dawson. So he come into the band. No Gary Brown, Alistair Brown. His name is Alistair Brown. Beg your pardon. Great bass player. He actually wrote this song. But when I looked at the lyrics and all that, and I thought, I could do that. But I never ever got round to that. The first songwriting I ever done was actually in the church, because there was a period of a time in my life where things had dipped and I was away from the music family and all that, and I was away in a world of my own. So I was able to pick up the guitar again and actually play in the church band. And it was through actually playing in the church that songwriting actually came to me. It was like a divine intervention from above. So that's, and it was just like it's like an inspirational thing. Somebody could say a phrase and I could go, I'd get a song out of that. I just believe it's a gift that I've got of some kind. Ken?
Well, what's been your musical highlights?
Musical highlights? Wow, there's been that many. I'd probably say first and foremost, playing in front of thousands at the Hillard Park. I'd probably say that was the pinnacle. There has been many more. In fact, the Milton Keynes Bowl, that was a kind of like first sort of proper festival I'd ever been at. And your good self was there, Gorky.
That's right.
And there's some amazing bands.
Is that the festival you convinced me I was at?
Aye, that's right. Aye,
You was there.
Aye.
You actually convinced me I was at.
That's right. And I started writing a song and I thought, that's right, Davey wasn't there. So I need to line out the song.
He went as far as getting pictures out and saying, "You were there, look, there's pictures." I says, "That's no me, Billy." Oh, you weren't there.
No, but I think one of the highlights of there was I'd never ever seen bottles getting flung backwards and forwards at a gig. And because I can't remember who was playing at the time, and I said, "What's that noise?" And I turned round, and folk were chucking cider bottles, beer bottles, so the brown bottles and green bottles, fleeing out your head. And they weren't the glass bottles, because that would have been a bit obviously crazy. They were plastic bottles. They go,
They weren't felt a beer or cider, you know that.
Aye, probably.
You would take the drink.
And that was a kind of a highlight. But then I think it was when I went to the toilets or I went to get something to eat, and I looked down, and just the amount of folk, and just everybody enjoying themselves, and it had to be like a.
And that was your wee kind of musical family then.
Aye,
everybody, because we were doing a minibus, didn't we?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Aye.
I always remember thinking.
In fact, I've got a photograph of you. I think it's in Manchester. We stopped for the toilets, and there's a picture of you outside the bus.
I thought there's a picture of him inside the toilets. No.
God,
you keep that to yourself.
I remember the excitement I'd gone because Joe Strummer and the Rockabilly War band were playing, and Mick Jones was playing with Big Order Dynamite, and I thought this will be the first time the two of them are really kind of playing the same stages, Ken, and I thought it would only be great if the two of them got on together, but obviously that didn't happen. But Ken, who I remember was really good, that the Aztec Camera.
Aye.
They were really good. And the men they couldn't hang.
That's right.
Always good.
That
was a good festival, that, wasn't it? It was the Amnesty International.
That was so, aye.
If I remember rightly, aye.
The definitely pinnacle was Hillard Park Festival. Thousands of folk enjoying themselves. Me standing there with you got a bolt of Thunderbird in one hand, a fag in there, and a bowler hat in my head, my guitar, and I think I had an Addicts t-shirt on or something like that. And I stood up to the mic and I thought, well, this is it. This is it. This is not the gateway on the mirror. This is the Hillard Park Festival. And I hit the first chord and it was in tune. And I was just like, dancing, you absolute beauty. And I belted it out with your car, Power in the Union by Billy Bragg. And the crowd went mental. And I'm like, wow, this is what it's all about, Ken. It's nothing to do with me. It's about Ken, aye. So there you go.
What's different now in the music industry than when you started out?
Oh, I'd say the difference is that there's more bands kind of starting to kind of evolve, but no in the same sort of way that we did back then. There's no the same community. I would say that there's no the same community in the music scene and within the music family It's great that we're all still together. If we didn't have it back then, we wouldn't be sitting here. We really wouldn't. I would say that some of the songs that's coming out are, I don't know, I can't really would you put my finger on it.
See, when we were younger, I think the kind of community came about because we were into the same kind of music, the Clash and the Pistols and Stiff Little Fingers and Rudy and all that.
Yeah.
And that these musical, what's the word I'm looking for? Movements don't happen anymore. Okay, because when we were young, there was your punk rockers, and then you had your mods, and then you had your kind of two-tone thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Now it's just all one kind of...
And I was always under the impression that because we were a certain age, that was always going to be the way, and some new musical thing will come along.
Yeah.
Can fully on for, because at that time it just seemed to happen every 3 or 4 years, something different happened.
Yeah.
Again, so, but that kind of bonded us together because we were all into the same kind of
I've got a great recollection of, like when we used to go to discos and that, there was always a disco in the town. If it wasn't St Joseph's, there was one down at All High Kirk. Crikey, there was even one in, I've got a great recollection. There was one, it was in the Scout Hall in New Ferm. You were wearing a black and red mohair, and I thought, this guy's cool. Because I'd never...
nobody ever...
my mum had knitted it.
I think quite a few had mohairs. I fell out with my mother because I wanted a black and red mohair. For like Captain Sensible kind of type. I wanted to kind of...
Kirky the Menace.
My mum actually knitted it.
And she ended up knitting me a red mohair, but with one black stripe. Oh, what good's that, Mum? And who Peter got with it, my brother, you get a black mohair. So every now and again I'd pinch his black mohair. But no, it was in that disco that night. Big Sandy was the DJ. The song that was on at the time was Listen by Stiff Little Fingers, and I always remember kind of getting up beside you, getting all of that to that. That was one of my great recollections of meeting Kirky
You've got a good memory.
for the first time. Your black spiky hair.
That must have been a while ago.
Hey, I can still grow it.
Hey, don't be blind.
I love the song, See the Ballad of Wild Bill. See the first time you played that, Bill, I thought, that is a classic song. And that was the song, obviously, we used in the end of our video for our lashing. Have you had some good feedback for that song?
Oh, aye, absolutely. Aye, loads of folk. Aye.
Was that one of the songs when you're writing, you just think, this is a great song?
What I do remember, and again, this is going back to why things are meant to happen. Our dear friend, would you call it, Ian Mulkey, who passed away. I was at his funeral, and his brother come up to the end and said, "Oh, boy, it's great to see you." Because at that time, I hadn't been with you guys. I was away, kind of like doing other stuff and that. And they come up to me and he says, "It's really great." He says, "I'm so glad that you've came along." And then he says, "We're doing a memorial gig for Ian." He says, "It'll be next year sometime." And his exact words were, "How do you fancy resurrecting Wild Bill?" And I went home that night and I thought about it and I thought, do you ken what? Absolutely. Totally. Aye. If it hadn't been for on, aye, definitely. And as I say, circumstances and things and that happened for a reason. And then came the night, and then I remember you actually come up to me at the end, and I can't remember what was on my set list kind of thing. It was a bit ropey and all that. I hadn't done it in years. It was a bit scratching and whatnot. But I remember you come up and saying to me, "Do you know write only your own stuff, Bill?" And it was then that I went home that night and I thought, you ken what? And all I done is went back into my memory bank and I thought, mate, I stood in the gateway that night. That time when I took my, stood in my bedroom with my guitar, boom, and it woof, 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 and it just came to me. I wrote it within half an hour.
I remember,
and that's inspiration. That's a gift, I think, that you got has been bestowed on.
I remember standing with Kevin McIntosh and listening to you playing, and I thought to myself, Jesus, that's brilliant. And Kevin went, that's amazing, Ken. And all the references to the early days, Ken, I thought, what a great tune. What a great tune.
Lyrically and everything.
Fantastic song. Fantastic song.
And then my dear friend Barry Lewis wanted to, help me out with it. And I've now got it on I've got backing track for it now, and then I'm singing on it as well and listening back to it, and I'm like, this is amazing, and all credit to Barry for his amazing music skills and that.
It is a fantastic
helping
song.
me out with that.
Billy, what's your plans for the future now, musically?
Musically, I'm actually, well, I'm in the process of now, let's say, writing a couple of songs for Plughole, my big pal Scott Wally. It was just one time we were talking in the gym one day and we were just chatting about stuff and that, and he said something, I went, that'd be a good line for a song, that. And he's like, huh? I said, that'd be a good line for a song. I said, I went him that night, and I'm like, and then I messaged Scott and he's going, that's brilliant. So nothing's happened yet. It's called, one of the songs is called We Live in a Broke Society. And then there's another song I was just thinking away one night, and I thought, it actually came to me after watching that song. It was that programme that was on the telly, Wendy, about, what do you call it, what's her name, Wendy Adams, the Adams thing, the Adams family. Wednesday, sorry. Wednesday, and they're playing that song, the Google Bug, whatever, and I was just hanging away with that, and they're singing, and next thing it just came to me, the Plughole Stomp. I thought,
that'd be brilliant.
Honestly, I just like, Plughole Stomp, in fact, I've got some lyrics here on my phone, so I have, so I'm in the process of writing that. So, songs for myself, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
But you're going to keep playing it.
Oh, aye, absolutely. Totally. When I get a chance, aye, absolutely.
I seen you playing in the Belfield Tavern. Can you tell us your memories of that?
Belfield Tavern. Well, certainly there was no pies getting flung that night, so that was a major thing. No, it was just getting the. One great memory I've got of what you call it, Belfield Tavern, and again how folk thought of me as a person and everything that. I just decided to come down one night. The 10 mics were playing, and there were a bunch of guys. I can't remember who was all there, and they were all sitting talking to me and all that. And their exact words were, "When this ever happened to Wild Bill?" 5 minutes later, I walk in the door. They near dropped. They said they just about spoilt their pints. Billy Sullivan, we've just been talking about you. So, playing in the Belfield Tavern, after the first night, obviously a bit ropey and all that, but after that, getting a chance to play with some great bands like Davey and that, and with Southern Approach, and I think there was
the Longhorns and
Mary's Hidden Light and Plughole, and so loads of chances again, and just again that community feel, that family feel, getting that my pals have asked me to play the night. That's good. You know, that's something really
Wild Bill
special.
It's been a pleasure.
A pleasure talking to you. And
cheers, Billy boy. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it.
Bringing back some memories.